From the banks of the Mississippi to the peaks of the Smokies, this is the home field of champions.
Andre Callaway to Stanley Morgan.
And no, holds it down. Nobody can catch him. Reggie White penetrated.
Touchdown, Heath Gillett. James Stewart.
Manning on the naked handoff.
Peerless Price.
Travis Henry scores for Tennessee.
More than 75 years of broadcast excellence. We are the Vol Network. What happened this weekend? What lies ahead? Analysis and insight from the inside. This is Big Orange. Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
This is Big Orange Rewind. With the voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, and VolQuest.com's Brent Hubbs.
Georgia comes to Knoxville and in front of 101,915 fans knocks off Tennessee in overtime 44-41. Vols are now 2-1 and they will prepare to play this Saturday at Neyland Stadium. 12:45 Eastern Time airtime. That's 12:45 kickoff. 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff for Tennessee against UAB. Our airtime is 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Vols and the Blazers, a pair of 2-1 teams. This one left a mark.
Yeah, it did, Mike. It left a mark, and it's not one that's going to go away in 48 hours or 24 hours or anything like that. As a football team, you have to use it the right way, obviously, and we'll talk about that throughout the show here. As a fan base, this one's going to hurt for a while. I mean, it really is. It's, Tennessee has lost a lot of games in a lot of different ways. They've had, fluke plays happen to them on Hail Marys and different things like that. The big Howard fumble you referenced in the broadcast on Saturday. It's been a while since Tennessee lined up to kick one, and it didn't work. You got to go back to the Alabama game where Lincoln to Mount Cody
2009.
In 2009. There hasn't been a ton of them in recent memory. Most of those have gone Tennessee's way when they've lined up to kick it and win it. And to have the ball sitting at the 20-yard line, basically, and a chance to put it down and kick it and get out of there with a win and not come away with it, it's going to hurt for a long time.
Tennessee gains a lot of yards, gave up a lot of yards. Mm-hmm. The score will tell you what an offensive shootout it was between the two teams, 998 yards. Georgia outgains Tennessee 502 to 496, virtually dead even.
Yeah. I mean, both teams exceeded anyone's expectations offensively. Most people had this as somewhat of a defensive struggle. The thought process coming in, well, Georgia's not there offensively. Where are they? What are they doing? And it was the vaunted Georgia defense, and Tennessee hadn't been able to move the ball against them for years. And as you looked at this, and I went through at the end of the week, I kept asking myself, am I putting too much stock in the last 4 years? You're putting too many stats, too many numbers in what's happened the last 4 years. This is a different team. Georgia's a different team. And both of these teams are different than they've been the last couple of years. There's no question about that. And Joey Aguilar came out hot. Tennessee came out rocking and rolling. What Tennessee's got to do offensively is they've got to avoid that lull. They've got to avoid that drought. It's almost like a basketball deal, where you're going an 18-2 run and the coach calls a timeout, then you come out and you don't score for 4.5 minutes or something like that. That's what it feels like Tennessee can do to themselves a little bit offensively. They have to figure out how to avoid that. And if that's play calling, if you see that Joey misses a throw or two throws and maybe you got to do something a little more simple for him to get him back in rhythm and get him going, whatever it is, you got to avoid what happened in the second quarter to Tennessee.
But part of that problem was they didn't have the ball.
No, you got to get off the field. I mean, you certainly, your defense has got to get, stops and has to get off the field on third down. And, it was just one of those quarters that didn't go very well. And when the first drive of the second half happened for Georgia and they kept the ball half the quarter, you thought, and I think Kirby Smart thought, hey, we're going to run them into the river. We're just going to run them into the river and go to the house. He even made a comment in one of his post-game or a teleconference or somewhere in the last 24 hours that basically thought, hey, we're in better shape than they are. We're gonna walk them out of here. And he said, to Tennessee's credit, they bowed their neck and they made it a 60-minute fight. But we felt like coming in, we were the better conditioned team. We were in better shape than they were, and we were going to walk them out of there after that drive to start the second half. To Tennessee's credit, they didn't allow that to happen. But you also can't give up a 7.5-minute drive to start the second half. Tennessee's got to be better getting off the field.
Your chance to text us your questions to 865-657-1278. Again, we would love for you to interact with us this evening on Big Orange Rewind, 865-657-1278. We're in the midst of the Rackley Roofing Recap, a breakdown of Tennessee's game against Georgia presented by Rackley Roofing, transforming the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. Looking at some of the other numbers, Joey Aguilar, 24-36, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 sack. Both of the interceptions, I think you can say, were not the result of a bad decision. He threw deep at the end of the half, and I think he kind of got hit as he was throwing it deep, but no harm, no foul on that. The second interception was one where Braylon Staley slips. It looks as if Staley stays on his feet and runs through it, it's probably a completion and a first down. So in both cases, while an interception, while a turnover, not a bad decision in either case by the quarterback.
Particularly the second one to Braylon Staley. That's the absolute right read. He's got the square in. He's going to make a first down. I mean, it's not going to go to the house or anything, but there's room in the zone there. Staley's not going to get rocked. He's got room to make that catch, get upfield, get down, and live to play another day there. And Mike, he didn't even get tangled up in his feet. His feet just went out from under him, just slid out from under him. And when he did, it just served it up to the defensive back. There was nothing you throw a guy open, right? You lead him. Everything you're supposed to do. You don't wait till he comes out of the break. You're throwing that on time like you're supposed to. That was just a very unfortunate play.
Star Thomas leads the Vols in rushing, 9 rushes for 60 yards, a long of 27. Deshaun Bishop, 15 for 54. Peyton Lewis, 5 for 20. Joey Aguilar had a 4-yard touchdown run, a total of 5 carries in the game for -8. Leading receiver in terms of receptions, Braylon Staley, 9 for 97 with a touchdown, 54 of his 97 yards after the catch. Chris Brazzell, 6 catches, 177 yards, 3 touchdowns. Only 44 of his 177 yards were after the catch. So think about that for a second. Only 25% of his yards were after the catch on the deep passes. He now has 5 touchdowns receiving this year. He now has more receiving yards through 3 games than he had all of last year, and only 9 less receptions. Mike Matthews, 5 for 59, all in the first half. He was not involved. The pass in overtime is one I think Tennessee would like to have back.
Yeah, I'm thinking Joey would like to have that one back. A little bit of a fastball, and it was there. It was going to be 15 yards probably, and certainly a first down to get you really started in overtime the way that you wanted. That one wasn't executed as well. And Mike would like to have it back. Mike would tell you if he were sitting right here, I should have caught the ball. Joey would tell you I should have gave him a better ball to catch. And Tennessee would go, well, that was a pretty good play call. We just didn't execute it the right way. I think that's a lesson probably for Mike Matthews a little bit too, that you got to stay in it. You don't know when your number's going to get called. You got to be ready to go. And I thought Chris Brazzell, who disappeared basically in the second quarter, didn't get opportunities, did a good job of staying engaged in there. I think those are young receivers learning. I like what this receiver core is doing for Tennessee right now. And you mentioned the deep balls. I mean, Tennessee has 4 touchdown passes this season already of over 50 yards. They had 4 all of last year. So the explosives are back. The vertical deep passing game is back. And what that means now is as a secondary, you got to account for it. You got to understand that possibility is there. Now Chris Brazzell, everybody goes, oh, he can run by us. We're going to have to go. So now it opens up some stuff underneath. I think it's going to give them even more creativity in their passing game development as we move forward.
I think what the receivers have been able to do, so Brazel has a deep ball, multiple deep balls. Obviously, Mike Matthews has a deep ball. Braylon Staley has a deep ball. I think the threat of this is so much bigger because this group, these starters, are faster than last year's starters.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
As I watched last year and saw the receivers, I think to myself at that point, they don't scare anybody in terms of speed. Not saying they're not good players, but they don't scare anybody.
Dante Thornton could run.
Yes.
Dante Thornton had speed. Outside of that.
But he was also – wasn't he dinged up for –
He was.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, and this has kind of been – this is where – I'm going to take it a step further from what you're saying because I think your point is spot on, but let me take it a step further. In 2021, Tennessee's receiving corps is Velus Jones, jitterbug, right? Underneath, slot, more of a running back after he gets the ball in his hand than he is anything at that point. Cedric Tillman is the big guy who's going to go get the contested catches but not elite speed. Then you have Javonte Payton, and all he was the vertical guy. That was the only route he had in his arsenal in 21. You go to 22, and it's Jalen Hyatt vertical in the slot, and then you're Brew McCoy on the outside, and it was Ramel Keaton, and you're a little more possession there, that type of thing. The difference in this group is, I think, to what you're saying, all of them can run every route effectively.
And can play multiple positions.
And again, Chris Brazel's as good on a 10-yard out as he is on a vertical ball. Braylon Staley can go vertical. He can go underneath and run the crossing stuff. So can Mike Matthews. The versatility of this trio as a group is more versatile than any of the trios of receivers, the starting trio of receivers that Josh Heupel's had since he's been at Tennessee.
All right, so listen to this from Tennessee Stats and Info. SEC wide receivers with 177 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in a game against a top opponent in the last 25 years. Deebo Samuel versus Clemson, 2018. Justin Jefferson against Oklahoma, 2019. Devontae Smith against Ohio State, January of 2021. Jalen Hyatt against Alabama, October 2022. And now Chris Brazel against Georgia, September of 2025. That is good company, my friend.
That is good company.
I mean, listen, Deebo Samuel, Justin Jefferson, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, that is great company to be in, and it also makes the sting hurt a little bit more too because you had that kind of production and you didn't get to the finish line to the game. But for Chris Brazel, year 2 in the system, we talked about him here last week. You thought he was coming on. He was the guy.
Well, I wondered if he could take
Yeah.
it further because he had 14 catches the first 2 games.
Right. And he has become that guy. Second year in the system. He knows this is an opportunity year for him. He's got dreams and aspirations of playing at the next level. He's got a quarterback who can get him the ball in a lot of different places that he has developed a quick chemistry with for whatever reason. They're on the same page. I mean, there's a lot of choice routes, but everybody's reading on the same page with each other. And the quarterback has given him a ball he can go get. Everything's in a catchable radius for Chris Brazel. And right now, Chris Brazel's got more confidence than he's ever had. He did not have that confidence a year ago. He does now.
Clearly. That's the Rackley Roofing Recap brought to you by Rackley Roofing, the proud official roofer of the Tennessee Volunteers. Text questions. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. So, again, the text line is 865-657-1278. Colin and Maryville. Should we have been more aggressive at the end of the game? Maybe go for a touchdown since we were cooking and not play for the field goal? Did we end up icing our own kicker?
Just talking about the last drive, not the one where
Yes.
they kicked the field goal, right? On
Yes.
the last drive. I don't know if you go for a touchdown there. You're playing the clock. You want to make sure you don't give Georgia a chance to do anything. Do I think that the extra try to get one more play in, was that the right thing to do? I mean, yes, it obviously didn't work out and it backfired on you. Did it ice your kicker? In some ways it probably did. I mean, the false start penalty is not what you had to do. I mean, at some point you kick it. And, I don't know where Max Gilbert was in terms of, was he ready? Did he know the plan? Did it catch him off guard that, hey, there's another play? Because at some point you get your mind right that I'm walking out here to kick it. So I wonder if on that last Georgia timeout, did he think, hey, I'm walking out here to kick it? or did he know another play was coming? I think all that you have to be mindful of when you're dealing with the psyche of kickers.
We were talking about it on the broadcast at that point because Georgia was in a situation where they had one more timeout. They would have known that had the clock kept running, Josh Heupel would have taken a timeout with 3 seconds to go. So Kirby Smart did not have to take the timeout there.
Right.
He chose to take the timeout, and in turn, he gave Josh Heupel a choice. Run it because it was third down. Run another play and use your timeout, or go ahead and send him out there and kick it. Again, we were kind of going through the scenarios wondering how it would go down in those final seconds, because had Kirby Smart held on to his timeout, knowing that Josh Heupel is not going to let the clock run out, then he would have had that timeout in his pocket to theoretically get in the head of Max Gilbert saying, is he going to call it or is he not going to call it when I go out here to kick it? So at that point, when he chooses to go ahead and call it and that's off the table, it kind of takes away one major scenario in all of it. To Colin's question, I think in that situation, you're playing for the field goal for this reason. You want to kick the field goal and get out of there. If you go try to score the touchdown and you do it with 30 seconds to go or 45 seconds to go, then Georgia gets the ball. Then you've got to go defend. You want to kick a reasonable field goal with a kicker who at that point had made 13 in a row over the last 2 years. You want to go kick it at that point and get out of there with as little time left as possible.
Well, I think the other thing, too, is you're looking where you're at yardage-wise, too, Mike. I mean, you're sitting here, you make that critical – Bishop gets the first down on 3rd and 1 and gets the critical the first down that you need. There's only 30 seconds to play.
Right.
So, how many more plays are you going to get? How cute do you want to try to get down in the red zone in terms of trying to go scoring? I think in your mind you're thinking – what yard line do I have to get to make my kicker comfortable?
Right.
And where does he want the football? At that point, with that little time left. Now, if you had a minute on the clock, we're playing a different game. But when you're talking about 20 seconds left to play in the game, I think you're thinking yardage for the kicker, and I think you are thinking where does he want the ball?
Well, you're trying to center. I mean, you could see on the play where the penalty was called, the last play.
Right.
They're trying to center the ball. I mean, they were trying to move it more toward the center of the field for the kicker, and then the penalty's called, and then they decide not to do that. They decide to go ahead and send the kicker back out there and try it at that point.
Yeah, and I think if Josh Heupel had it to do over, he would probably wouldn't imagine that somebody was going to jump off sides. But I think you probably think about the rhythm of your kicker. Make sure my kicker is comfortable with what we're doing here, because you don't want to disrupt the plan of the kicker to get ready to kick. What's the whole point in a coach holding a timeout? It's to ice the kicker.
Right.
Well, you're just trying to disrupt his rhythm is all you're trying to do.
And he didn't do that.
Right.
Kirby Smart chose not to do that, so when he made that choice, suddenly the choice with the timeout is in Josh Heupel's hands, in your hands at that point. So that's been taken away, and then the choice Tennessee made was to try to attempt to center the ball in the middle of the field, and instead they got a penalty, and a 38-yard kick went to become a 43-yard kick.
And you don't want another penalty to happen. You don't want it to become a 40. That's why you kick it right there.
And there was some disruption on that penalty with the snap didn't look exactly right, and you're kind of like – not talking about the long snap, talking about the snap on the play. You're like,
Yeah, I mean, let's just at that. I mean, I'm standing there and I'm looking at Josh Heupel. I'm standing on the sideline, and the penalty happens, and he didn't drop to his knees, but he doubled over in disbelief. Like, we just this was simple. Like, all we've got to do is execute one thing. Okay, let's just go kick it. I'm not taking any more chances here. We'll just now go kick it. And again, does that disrupt your kicker? I don't know. I mean, it was clearly in his range. He came right back out in overtime and made the kick. He just made a bad swing on the ball. I mean, it's what it boils down to. I don't think the 5 yards made a difference. I think it was going to be right. If it was at 38 or 43, it was not. Yeah. It's not because of the 5 yards that he missed the kick. He just didn't make the kick, and that's
And he's a good kicker.
yeah, that's football.
I mean, that's the thing is to Colin's question, and the reason that I wanted to take it first is I know it's totally relevant, and I know it's what people are talking about. I think in that situation, when you have a good kicker, which Tennessee does, then you're saying if it's 55 yards, it's one thing. But you're saying that 35, 45 range, I mean, that's right in his wheelhouse.
Well, and here's the other, and I go back to this. They were not sitting on the ball for a minute.
No.
I mean, they were continuing to try to move the ball. I mean, they threw the ball 3 plays earlier, I guess. So, I mean, they had thrown the ball. They were trying to get into range there. So it's not like you see this sometimes like, okay, we're within 54 yards, and now we're just going to that's the NFL model, right? Like we're just going to play it right here, and we'll sit on it for a minute and a half, and we'll kick it. That's not what happened in this case. They were trying to get as far as they could get by securely taking care of the football till they got into comfortable range and then go win the football game.
Well, and let's remember, the team on the other side had gained 477 yards to that point.
Oh, yeah.
So you don't want to give them another crack at anything if you can help it. I mean, at that point, when you get to the 25-yard line, you're playing to end it right there, and they had a chance to do it. Just unfortunately for Tennessee, didn't execute, goes to overtime, Georgia wins the game. We need to get a break. Big Orange Rewind is the show. It's presented by our great friends at Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Your text questions at 865-657-1278.
Big Orange Rewind.
Sponsored by First Horizon. Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life.
By the natural gas utilities and pipeline companies in Tennessee.
Natural gas.
Pilot, the official travel stop of the Vols. See you out here. RJV Kubota, with 2 convenient locations in Knoxville and Nashville. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
It's football time in Tennessee, and Alumni Hall is the place to gear up for your Tennessee Vols. Shop the largest and newest selection of top brands like Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, New Era, Yeti, and more. Mix and match champion tees, 2 for $38, and spend $150 to earn $10 Hall cash for your next visit. Shop AlumniHall.com. Visit Alumni Hall in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, Bristol, or Johnson City, or download their app. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping destination.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve ball fans since 1983.
What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you could choose one bank that's the best of both? That's First Horizon, with big bank reliability and small bank resolve. You get 160 years of financial strength and stability and an enduring commitment to personal service. When the best of big meets the best of small, you get it all. To help you on the road to your horizon. First Horizon Bank. Visit firsthorizon.com/getitall.
When getting the job done right is job one, you need construction equipment that's built right. From compact track loaders to the world's #1 selling compact excavator, the Kubota construction lineup features durable Kubota engines, more comfort, and the versatility to do it all and do it right. Visit your local Kubota dealer today. Go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit RJV Kubota locally in Knoxville or Nashville. RJV Kubota, a proud supporter of the Vols.
Presented by Calhoun's. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Need a haircut? With the Great Clips app, you can put your name on the list from anywhere and head to the next salon when you're up next. Because getting a great haircut shouldn't mean putting your life on hold. Great Clips, it's going to be great. All right, we go back to the text line at 865-657. We got a few tonight. Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. A few things on people's mind, I'm sure.
865-657-1278. Very proud of how Tennessee played yesterday. A lot of questions were answered. Do you see Star Thomas becoming running back one? He seems to be distinguishing himself as our best back. That's from Kevin in Columbia, Tennessee.
Well, you're going to play more than one, okay? Because I don't think they're going to play what they did a year ago and have one guy take the load like Dylan Sampson did. So you're going to play more than one. I think the question becomes, do you play three? And what does a three-man rotation look like? Or does this morph more into a two-man rotation? We'll see as time goes on this season. I think Star Thomas has had a terrific preseason and a start to this year. I think he's got good feet, Mike. I think you can tell he's played a lot of football. I think this system, once he got a handle on it, fits his one-cut-and-go style well. I like the way he runs. Those backs have to catch the ball better. They've had too many drops the last 2 weeks for my liking. In general, they've got to catch it better. But I think you're going to see more and more Star Thomas because of the production. At the end of the day, Darrell Sims, Tennessee's running back coach, has made it clear to everybody in that room. It's about production. The guy who produces the best is going to play the most. That's the competitive. You show up every day and go to work. Right now, Star Thomas is producing really well.
Star Thomas, 33 carries for 221 yards. That's 6.7 per carry, 3 touchdowns. His long 27, which came yesterday. Deshaun Bishop, 29 carries, 206 yards. Make that 204 yards, I should say. 7 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. He has a 47-yard run and a 50-yard run. Peyton Lewis, 21 carries, 80 yards before a loss of 4, which gives him 76 net, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think Bishop's going to be out of your rotation, and he shouldn't be. He's playing well. I think Star Thomas is playing really well as well. And I think as you move along, how they divide those reps up will be based on the production, and those two guys are producing the most right now.
Star Thomas has lost only 1 yard this year in 33 carries. Deshaun Bishop has lost only 2 yards in 29 carries. It's quite a statement on both of those players, but also a good statement about the run block.
Yeah, it's a terrific statement about up front, and they talk all the time about +2, falling forward. I think both those backs have done a good job of doing that. Bishop's always done that in his career. And I think if you go look at Tennessee the last few years, they don't have a bunch of negative rushing yards because it's the one cut and go. There's not a lot of dancing. You go back and look at Jalen Wright, Mike. You go back and look at Dylan Sampson. These are not backs that get the ball on a zone read and dance back there. It's hit it. Trust that it's going to be there and go. And the result of that is not a lot of negative yards because somebody's not trying to make something that's not there by dancing around.
Let's go to Marshall County. Roger with this. Though we didn't run enough, especially in the second quarter when we weren't scoring. I'm sorry, I misread that. Thought we didn't run enough, especially in the second quarter when we weren't scoring. And also, why are we lining up offsides on defense? It's a reoccurring annual issue.
You've been at practice. That has been such a point of emphasis in practice for them on their alignment and not to cheat forward. It is a maddening thing for Coach Chop and Rodney Garner, the defensive line coaches. It has been a huge point of emphasis. I don't know why it's happened. It's happened too much already this year. It happened a lot more last year. You just got to have better self-awareness there. You got to understand where you're at. You're trying to cheat every inch. I understand that, but you got to understand if my head's over the ball and I got to back up.
When they called it, I mean, he was considerably in the neutral zone.
He was a bad alignment. As for running the ball, I think, looking at the second quarter stats here,
are you going to start with the fact that they didn't run the ball because Joey Aguilar was 14 out of 14 for nearly 200 yards?
He said in the second quarter, right?
Yeah, but I think part of the reason you're not running it is you're throwing it like crazy early on, and the running was just sort of okay.
Yeah,
I mean the first quarter rushing was just fair. And you're literally tossing it all over the yard, and they can't stop you. I mean, that would be my guess as to why they didn't run it more at different points. I mean, they really didn't run very effectively until the last drive, until the last drive of regulation.
Yeah, I mean, in the second quarter, they had 7 passing attempts and 6 rushes. They only had the ball 13 snaps.
Plays.
You know, and you look at that, they had, as you mentioned, 14 of 14, you get the ball back. So what do? You throw a pass on first down, then you run it, and you run it to get a first down, then you throw an incomplete pass, and then you throw another incomplete pass. So of those 7 passing attempts, 4 of them came on the first drive of the second half. After that, you ran it more than you threw it, almost 2-1. And so I wouldn't have run it if my quarterback's 14 of 14 and I've got guys running open everywhere. Why am I make Georgia make a decision on how you're doing.
Make a decision, because you've got to figure at that point they're going to have to do something where the running may get more effective. And I think that did happen in that last series. I think Georgia was terrified that Tennessee was going to throw it over their head. And so, oh, by the way, all of a sudden we can run the football.
Well, I think what Georgia did is I think after Tennessee jumped out to 21 quick points the way that they did, I think Georgia said, okay, we're going to play more zone in the back end, and we're going to make sure that the ball doesn't get thrown over us and we can protect it better. That's why you saw some of those big hits in the middle of the field, some pass breakups there, because Tennessee kept running into the middle of the field into some of that zone stuff. And then when they got a chance to make a big play one-on-one on the outside, guess what? They scored.
Yes.
I mean, they hit the deep ball. So I think Georgia adjusted, and then I think it became a pretty good chess match in the second half because Kirby Smart's like, okay, now we're punch, counter-punch, and Josh Heupel's like, tendencies, we're playing this, we're anticipating that, and it got into a pretty good chess match at that point.
All right, Mike wants to know, when Tennessee forced the fumble in the fourth quarter, did Heupel see something to run the ball 3 straight times?
Yes. He did.
He told you this on the postgame yesterday.
We asked about this. I asked about this specifically on the postgame because I knew fans would have this question. He felt like and said in Georgia's alignment, when in a sudden change situation, their tendency, because most teams go for a kill shot, their tendency is to play split safeties, play 2 safeties high, try to take away any kind of big home run ball like that, and then settle in to play defense. They stayed in the split safety look. That's what they came out in. Tennessee wanted to run the football.
And when you say the split safety look, you're talking about 2 safeties basically on either hash, probably not exactly, 12, 15 yards deep.
Yeah, they're playing.
So there's no way the box is loaded at that point.
Yeah, numbers count great point. Numbers count is in your advantage. So Tennessee's going to come out anticipating that they're going to run it. First foul that happens, Tennessee has a legal procedures penalty. Now you're 1st and 15. Well, what are you thinking at that point? Okay, I would have liked to have seen passes there. Okay, I'm just going to be selfish. I thought the quarterback was hot. Throw the football there. I think you could have gotten Chris Brazel open. I'll say that. But what Josh Heupel's thinking is when it's 1st and 15, I can't lose points. We can't get out of field goal range. So where are we at that point if we lose any more yards, if we take a sack? We need to run the football to ensure we're up by 8 points. We want to be up by 8 points with 5 minutes to play in the football game is what they're trying to do.
At minimum.
At minimum. We cannot lose that opportunity. And so they run the football, and then they get themselves into a 3rd and 7, and they got the same look that they were looking. If you rewatch it on film, it's a light box. There's 6 in the box for Tennessee blocking, and there's 6 of Georgia players to block. Okay, because you've got 5 offensive end linemen and a tight end, and Georgia's got 6. Now, Georgia walked 2 up into there to create 6 at the line of scrimmage. Tennessee felt like if they got the trap block that they needed, they could squirt that. They could crease it, if you will, to where now Bishop is one-on-one with the safety, and the safety's coming downhill from 12 yards. And now are you going to get 7 yards, 6 yards, 8 yards, 5 yards? But now you're 4th and 2 and maybe you're making a decision, or you make the first down. That's what Tennessee's thought process was on the 3rd down call there. I think part of the lack of aggressiveness resulted in the 5-yard penalty, and you're thinking to yourself, I can't lose the field goal. I can't lose not extending the lead by taking another negative play. And I think that was the end result of kind of why Tennessee ran it. And then they thought they had a numbers count in their advantage on 3rd down and thought they could get the first out of it or put it in 4th and inches.
865-657-1278. We take your text questions on Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, 9 convenient locations in Knoxville and surrounding areas.
Vol Nation, if you're looking for quality performance apparel, look no further than Turtleson. Founded by UT alumni out of Bristol, Tennessee, Turtleson designs clothes and accessories that fit your lifestyle. From the office to the country club or the Tennessee Volunteers tailgate, Turtleson has the apparel that looks as good as it feels. Ask for Turtleson wherever you buy your volunteer gear or visit Turtleson.com to learn more. Turtleson is a proud sponsor of the Vol Network. Go Vols!
This is Mike Keith, and you're listening to the Ford F-150 Truck Highlight Show. Go Vols! The smart, powerful Ford F-150 turned in another championship caliber performance. Thanks to available Pro Power onboard and outstanding payload numbers, fans will be talking about this tailgate for years to come. For great offers on a new Ford F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of Tennessee Athletics.
See Owner's Manual for important operating instructions.
Rackley Roofing is now the official roofer of the Vols, and Rackley is more than a roofing company. They're part of the communities where they work and live, investing in neighborhoods and opening doors to a career in an industry that's growing year after year. Rackley Roofing's mission is clear: transform the roofing industry with unmatched customer service, detailed documentation, and the highest safety standards. Because Rackley believes the ladder to a great roof is only as good as the people who climb it. Rackley Roofing, building roofs, building futures.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
A look back and what's next. Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
Text questions at 865-657-1278. John says, I realize injury status is classified information. I don't know if it's classified. Is it classified?
It's hard to come by.
It's close to. But do we know where we stand, especially on defense with injuries?
Well, let's start up front, because that's where I think that Tennessee's in a position to get some help. Okay, Jackson Moy had tried to do everything he could to play this past week, just wasn't there. I would be surprised if you played him this week against UAB, give him another week to try to heal and be ready for Mississippi State. Davin Hobbs is out of the boot. He had a brace on his ankle on the sideline, but he's moving around in tennis shoes. I think he's getting to the point of getting ready to return to doing some conditioning and some work that way in his rehab and get closer to being on the practice field. There's hope that he might be able to play some snaps against Mississippi State. That's hope. Nothing's there yet, but he is progressing in the right direction there. Jamad McCoy's recovering from a torn ACL from back in January. It was a significant tear. It wasn't just a small, simple thing. It was a pretty significant injury. The rehab has gone well. I don't think there was ever a plan for him to be ready for Georgia. We'll see where he's at. Is Mississippi State realistic? I don't know. Is after the open date Arkansas realistic? Maybe we'll see. I mean, he's got to get back to the point where he's practicing with his team, doing team stuff. It's gone. The rehab has gone well. It's just a lengthy process. And Ricky Gibson, Josh Heupel has said, is going to be out for an extended period of time, and I think that's an extended period of time for this season. So we'll see what Josh Heupel has to say with that. But as a fan, I wouldn't plan on seeing Ricky Gibson anytime soon.
Yeah, when you hear that from a coach who doesn't talk about injuries, that generally is like, ooh.
Yeah, that's
a gulp.
Yeah, that's one of those like, oh, that's not good. And so I don't think if you're Tim Banks, I think right now you are trying to figure out how do I generate corner depth to build behind Colton Hood, behind Ty Redmond. How do I work in Jalen McMurray? What do we try to do? Because they played Hood, Redmond, and Turrentine basically every snap in the game. They've got to get some rotation. They've got to get some help back there. They've got to get still some snaps here and there along the way with some guys. I think Tim Banks has got to figure that out, and I think that's a big priority for him moving forward.
This is from Sean, UT grad 92. Our defense is a big concern. I don't know if this is the same question or not, but it ties in.
Okay.
This is a young team. A lot of young guys are playing meaningful snaps. Who will be the players to lead the response to such a tough loss? Does it come more from the coaches?
No, I think it comes from the leadership of this team, and I think this team has good leadership, Mike. I think this comes from Arion Carter. It comes from Jeremiah Thielander. It comes from Turrentine. It comes from Joshua Joseph. I think on offense, it comes from Miles Kitzelman. I think it comes from Joey Aguilar. I think even a guy like Wendell Moy, who says little to nothing, if he speaks, it carries volume as well. So,
whoa.
Yeah, whoa. I mean, Bryson Eason. There's some vocal. This team has good leadership with its upperclassmen, and I think the challenge is on them to make sure these young guys understand you're on a journey. You got to flush it. You got to move on and get ready to play the next one.
How much of a concern is the defense?
Well, I think the concern is that you're having a hard time getting off the field. I think that's the concern right now. You've given up 5 fourth down conversions on the season now. You gave up 3 to Syracuse. You gave up 2 to Georgia. You only gave up 7 all of last year in 22 attempts. So I think that if you're looking at the concern against good competition, Mike, and no offense to ETSU, but if you take them out of the equation, teams are converting at too high of a clip for you on third down. You got to get off the field. And so you've got to clean up whatever your issues are on third down from a coverage standpoint, from a pressure standpoint. Tim Banks has got to find a way to get some better answers to get off the field on third down.
Well, and the bottom line, too, is you see a lot of really good plays, getting pressure on the quarterback, on a much better pace for quarterback sacks for the year. Don't have enough turnovers yet. Didn't have a takeaway against ETSU, but those come in bunches. We get that kind of talk, but it's a down in, down out. I mean, in this league in particular, and you saw this yesterday, you can be super on first down, super on second down. You can even be super on third down. But if on that last down you're not, then these teams have guys who can make the plays to keep you on the field, or in the case of Georgia, to score a touchdown.
Well, and the other thing, too, is if you are a team that to get pressure on the quarterback, you've got to bring extra people, you become a little bit feast or famine.
Sure you do.
And the first couple of years Tim Banks was here, they were very blitz-heavy, feast or famine. Last year, his best defense, they probably blitzed less, which is why you saw fewer sacks. But they were really good on the back end in coverage because your corners were really, really good. And they got you in third and long situations. They played you at the sticks. They rallied, tackled you, and forced you to punt.
Right.
Now, it wasn't the funnest defense for fans to watch because it's like there's no big wow plays.
They were not spectacular.
No, there's not a lot of spectacular plays. But they consistently got off the field because they could play coverage on third and long and get off the field when they won first and second down. They're having a hard time doing that in third and long right now.
The Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's. Look for Calhoun's inside Neyland Stadium. More of your text questions coming up at 865-657-1278 on Big Orange Rewind.
A farm, a family, and a tradition of premium fresh sausage that's lasted almost a century. Using only the freshest ingredients and finest cuts of meat for flavor that is locked in instantly. Each bite of Swaggerty's Farm sausage transports you back to a warm, cozy southern kitchen, leaving you satisfied and ready to take on the day. Swaggerty's Farm. Quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. Now available at your local retailers.
Vol Nation, it's Coach Heupel. You know, every time I step out on Shields-Watkins Field, I'm reminded once again why it's great to be a Tennessee Vol. The storied history, the cherished tradition, the past, the future. As the official travel stop of the Vols, Pilot has made it their mission to ensure that the home of the Vols is preserved with pride for generations to come. Neyland Stadium, preserved by Pilot. See you out here.
Fall fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
The Big Orange Rewind continues, presented by Calhoun's.
865-657-1278. You can text us questions. We'd love to hear from you tonight to talk about what's going on with Tennessee football. What went on in the SEC this weekend? Oklahoma was a 43-3 winner over Temple. Oklahoma 5 straight years starting 3-0. Alabama with a 38-14 win over Wisconsin. They bombed the Badgers 2 seasons in a row.
That Wisconsin offense is tough. Not much.
Well, they were playing the backup quarterback, too.
Yeah, it's a struggle.
Auburn 31, South Alabama 15, Missouri 52, Louisiana 10. Texas beat UTEP 27-10.
Nobody should schedule Scotty Walden's teams, by the way. I mean, he was at Austin Peay.
Oh, yeah.
Plays everybody close. He came in here.
Do we worry about Arch Manning at all? I mean, I know he got a bunch of grief at Ohio State, but, I mean, it was Ohio State in its first game. But did I read he had 10 straight incompletions at one point yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people in Texas trying to figure out what's the deal there, what's going on. You know, there was a lot of talk this week. Was he hurt? Because somebody caught a video of him grimacing when he threw the ball, and Sarkisian said, no, he's not hurt at all. The ball does not look like it's coming out of his hand very well. Let's take the decision-making out of it. But just his delivery mechanically, it doesn't look great right now.
But in today's passing games –
oh, you got to have it. I mean, yeah. Those are not the numbers anybody expected from him.
No. Mississippi State over Alcorn 63-0. Ole Miss outlasted Arkansas 41-35. Kentucky beat Eastern Michigan 48-23. LSU doubled up Florida 20-10. By the way, if you didn't watch the Brian Kelly press conference post-game, recommended viewing.
You like that?
Did you see it?
I saw it. I did see it.
Texas A&M beat Notre Dame 41-40. Notre Dame is 0-2. And Vanderbilt, a 31-7 win over Shane Beamer in South Carolina. Shane Beamer, his life's going to get more interesting with Brent Pry being fired at Virginia Tech. You would have to figure that Virginia Tech is going to do whatever they can to make Beamer tell him no, probably Nick Saban, Alabama number of times.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think you're going there. And I mean, does Shane Beamer have any interest? He's going to say no, but what does he think? I mean, do they have the resources at Virginia Tech to compete? I think that's the first question you ask. Is it an easier path there in an expanded playoff system at that place than it is where you are at South Carolina? Is the pressure mounting on you this season? I mean, there's a lot of things happening week 3. Think about this. 2 coaches have been let go week 3.
Yeah, Deshaun Foster let go at UCLA after their 0-3 start. By the way, don't want to bury the lead. Let's again repeat. Vanderbilt 31, South Carolina 7. And that wasn't all because Norris got hurt. Yeah, Lenore Sellers got hurt.
No, this is a Vanderbilt team that's pretty complete. They're not just Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
They can do that. Clark Lee's got a good football team.
Yeah. So interesting there. Coming up this week, we have our first set of byes. There are teams that have bye weekends. For example, Georgia has a bye this weekend. Some decent games, though. Arkansas against Memphis is the noon Eastern time game. Tulane, Ole Miss at 3:30. Auburn, Oklahoma at 3:30 Eastern time.
Lots of storylines in that one.
Northern Illinois and Mississippi State play in Starkville at 4:15. If State wins this game, they'll be undefeated coming into their matchup with Tennessee on September the 27th. South Carolina travels to Missouri. That game just got more interesting.
Well, you don't know where Sellers is going to be, and that South Carolina offensive line is having a hard time right now.
Florida at Miami, 7 o'clock Eastern time.
It doesn't get any easier for the Gators. We all saw that schedule after the UCF loss.
Vanderbilt with a great chance to go to 4-0 against Georgia State at home, 7:30 Eastern time Saturday night. Southeast Louisiana at LSU, 7:45. And Sam Houston State at Texas, 8 o'clock Eastern time this weekend.
By the way, my apologies to Alex Golesh. I slipped up and said UCF instead of USF. It was South Florida and the Bulls, so I apologize, Coach Golesh.
I think after yesterday, he probably is not too concerned.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
I mean, he had a gauntlet, and he came through 2-1.
I mean, it couldn't be any better for you to get started if you're him.
If you ask him, just you and he sitting there as pals over a beverage before the season, if he could have 2-1. I mean, every coach is going to say, we don't want to, we won't be 3-0.
In talking to him, he would have taken 2-1 and been happy.
Yeah.
And been happy. I mean, because I spoke with him after the BYU win, and he was like, we got a long ways to go. So he knew what was coming.
Text questions from you, 865-657-1278. Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network, presented by Calhoun's.
Miss any of today's Rewind? Catch the full podcast with Mike Keith and Brett Hubbs. UTSports.com. We are the Vol Network. Exclusive guests, insider analysis. You know what happened, find out why and how, and what happens next. This is Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Grab a taste after the next Tennessee game. Calhoun's.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Radio Network. Mike Keith, Brett Hubbs. Text questions, 865-657-1278. Talking about this past weekend's game where Tennessee fell to Georgia 44-41 in overtime. Talking about what is upcoming for the Volunteers, a 12:45 Eastern time kickoff on Saturday at Neyland Stadium, preserved by Pilot, against UAB. Vols are still 15th in both major polls. Brent Hubbs, are you surprised that even after a loss, Tennessee did not fall in the national rankings?
I am not. Looking at the national narrative of that game from yesterday, just the kind of the social media from national pundits out there, I think Tennessee garnered a ton of respect from a lot of people. A lot of people casting votes. I think their eyes were open to Tennessee. There was a lot of wonder about what Tennessee could do. I mean, there's not many people going out putting 40 points up on Kirby Smart's teams. And for Tennessee to do that and to put up the yards the way they did, I think people looked at Tennessee and said, wait a minute, these guys, they're not going to take this step back everybody thought they were going to take. In fact, they may be better. Offensively, they're definitely better. Now, defensively, they've got to get well. But, no, I think Tennessee garnered a lot of respect with the way they played yesterday.
Yeah, this question on the text line, 865-657-1278, it's along the same lines. The Vols remain 15th in the polls. What does that say about how this team is viewed? And you just mentioned that. Or is it more of a reflection of the performance of other top 25 teams?
Well, I think both of them can be the answer. I think both fall into that category. But I think Tennessee staying where they were is more of a reflection of what they've done than everybody said, well, everybody lost all around them, so you leave them where they were. I don't think it was fully that. But, yeah, I mean, does it help that there was some movement around him? Sure. But I think overall it's more about what Tennessee showed on the field than anything else.
Tennessee has now been ranked in the AP Top 25 for 23 consecutive weeks. The Vols have been ranked in the coaches poll for 51 straight weeks. So that's a nice reflection in terms of how the media feels about you and what is kind of the perception of where your program is right now.
Well, it also shows you the stability that you have, which is the perception you're talking about. You've been a consistent football team. What does that tell you? You haven't had a lot of performances, and you've had some really nice performances where you beat some people. You beat Alabama twice. You beat Florida twice. You know, those types of things garner you respect out there.
Let me ask you where you think Boo Carter is today as we speak at this moment in terms of the secondary, how much we're going to see him going forward, what his progress has been working his way back from discipline that started back at the beginning of camp.
You know, Mike, we're 7-8 weeks removed from that, and he's played in every game. I think he's back. I mean, I think that I don't say that's completely over because, you know, obviously somebody could make a misstep or whatever at any point in time, whether you've had issues in the past or you haven't had issues in the past. But I think that part of it is over. Now it's about Boo Carter on the field and how does Boo Carter play. He flashed. I thought he did some good things in the game on Saturday, particularly in the fourth quarter. He had the one possession in the fourth quarter where I thought he made a couple of really nice plays, a good tackle in the backfield or a TFL right at the line of scrimmage in the run game. Thought he made a nice open field tackle on, I guess it was Stockton.
Gunnar Stockton.
You know, and I thought that was a good play. I thought Boo did some good things. I think there's some things he can be more consistent at in coverage and be a little more disciplined, if you will, in his coverage and being where he's supposed to be all the time. But I think Boo's going to play more. And here's part of the reason why I think Boo Carter's going to play more. He played 28 snaps. Okay,
out of 87.
Yeah, Jalen McMurray played 55. Okay, but you played Redmond and you played Hood every snap. Your third corner is McMurray. So, do you rotate three corners? Do you slide McMurray down and play him some at corner and play Boo more at star? And McMurray spells Boo at star as well.
Don't you think some of that has to do with how fast McCoy is worked back in, if and when, when, not if, but when that happens?
Yeah, I mean that would change things there because then if McCoy's back, then you have a third corner in Redmond at that point would probably become your third corner. I'm saying in the short term, do you need to give the young corner Redmond a spell to catch his breath? I mean, he's playing his third college football game, and he played 80-something snaps yesterday in his first SEC game ever. That's a heavy ask. So my question is, do you play McMurray some at corner, play Boo more snaps at star to help with that rotation in the back end so you don't have guys playing 85 snaps?
We have been led to believe that the Boo Carter situation in terms of him coming back from the disciplinary action that he's been under is basically day-to-day. That it's one day stacking another day on top of a day. If he's gotten to the point that he's back above sea level in that way, is he ready to step back in as the starter at the star in order to give the defense the strength that he gives them as one of the better athletes on the football team, and also the depth because McMurray, we thought, would be the starting corner opposite Ricky Gibson. We thought this was the scenario. We didn't know it would be Colton Hood because we didn't know Colton Hood.
Right.
But in the summer, we thought as we waited on McCoy to come back, before all the things happened with Boo Carter, we thought McMurray would probably be the starting corner for a period of time. So he does have that capability. I guess I throw out something you were just touching on and ask you to take it further.
I think the question now is not about is he above sea level to the point of being a starter. It's who's the better fit for you at the star position right now. Who's playing better? Is it McMurray or is it Boo Carter?
But
Who gives you the better?
But can you know if Boo isn't playing that much?
Yeah, 28 snaps. I mean, I
so
think,
you think that's enough of a sample
well,
size?
I mean, he played 28 snaps in
Okay.
critical situations against Georgia. I mean, that's enough to evaluate where he's at.
So if the discipline thing is in line, if we're going well there, you're saying take the 28 snaps, grade that, and whomever's grading out the best, you're thinking you go ahead and make that move.
Well, let's look at Boo Carter. If the PFF stats are right, he played 27 snaps against Syracuse. He played 24 against ETSU, which I think we get what was going on there. And then he played 28 against Georgia. So you've seen him for 3 games play enough. So is he playing better football than Jalen McMurray is in terms of what you're wanting and needing him to do at that position? That's what Tim Banks is deciding, and that's what the secondary coach and Josh Heupel are deciding, more so than it is, okay, he's not back, I think, more than, okay, he's not back, completely back, so we're only going to play him a limit. I mean, if he's playing 28 snaps, he can play 58 snaps.
Right.
If he's playing the best football for you. And my question is...
But is he a guy that needs the 58 snaps to be as good as he can be? Because, I mean, Boo Carter hasn't been a backup on many teams he's ever been on in any sport.
That's the decision that guys making a lot more money than I make.
Look at you.
Make that
Look
decision.
at you.
But I mean, but it's a good question.
Yeah.
But I mean, because some guys need more reps.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, some guys there are some running backs that they don't platoon well, right? They need carries
100%.
15 to 25 to be at their best. They're not going to be at their best till they get into that range. Some guys need more snaps. That's maybe Boo. I don't know. That's what for the coaches to decide. I don't think he's being limited in his reps at this point because of 7 weeks ago when the discipline stuff that was out there and talked about. That's what I believe right now.
All right. David from Winchester wants to know if they should be implementing Boo Carter on offense.
I don't think you're there. I think that, this is – and that's not because of discipline. I think you're right now – I think the reason he's playing 28 snaps instead of 48 snaps is he's got to play better on defense. I think he's got to execute better on defense. He's got to be a better, more consistent player. I don't think you're overloading his plate right now. Don't add all that to the mix. And, oh, by the way, Chris Brazel's playing well. Braylon Staley's playing well. You're not having a move the football offensive issue that you go, man, we're void of playmakers. We got to find somebody on offense.
497 yards and 496.
You don't need him to go score at this point. So that's why I don't think there's any movement with Boo Carter on offense.
Well, the main reason I asked the question is basically the fact that you're saying you lack depth at corner. Can McMurray give it to you right now where if Boo is playing to a level, if everything is okay in the other end, which we don't know.
Right.
I mean, we don't.
I'm just telling you my opinion.
I understand.
But I don't know.
And,
You're right.
And I'm not challenging you to say.
I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying we're taking it. I mean, he's still here.
Mm-hmm.
And
played in every game.
He played, and he's returning punts, and it feels like it's going pretty well. If it is, then are they better off getting him back in the regular rotation, knowing McMurray will spell him some, but also then having McMurray to play some corner too?
Well, I think coming out of this game, if you're doing a self-scout, if I'm doing a self-scout, and somebody wants to pay me a lot of money, I'll take the check, but nobody's going to.
You talk about money a lot.
I do. I'm married, okay? We got the Amazon truck comes to the house all the time. Yes. But anyway, I think you have to wonder about snap counts. And
Sure.
a couple of different places. We've talked about defensive tackles. You do not want your tackles playing 60 snaps a game.
And right now they're already playing more snaps than they did a year ago.
Then you go to the secondary. I just mentioned how much Redmond's playing. I think you've got to look at managing workload in the secondary as well. So does Jalen McMurray's 55 snaps need to be split over 2 positions?
Right.
And Boo Carter's at 55 snaps, and he's rotating.
That's what I'm asking.
I agree with you. I think that's what you should be doing, and I think that's what you have to do with that.
And you think now's the time?
I think coming out of this game, you've got to look at saying, wait a minute now, we cannot sustain, or can we sustain for 9 more games with these guys playing the volume of snaps that they're playing? I'll tell you another one who I would wonder about snap load, Miles Kitselman. Miles Kitselman playing basically every snap of offense is he wearing down because of the physicality he has to play with, blocking ends, blocking tackles on stunts, that he's going out in pass routes? Do you need Jack Van Dorselaer to play more? Where's Ethan Davis? Where's Deshaun Brame? Can you get away with playing Miles Kitselman 70 snaps a game?
Well, because these guys wear those trackers now, the GPS trackers, to see not only how fast they go, but how many steps they move. And then as you get through the course of a season, not only are the athletes beat up to a certain extent, but the other thing that comes from it is because the workload has been such, they wear down.
Yep.
And so then what do if you're smart, and these guys are obviously smart, then you take days off from practice. You get them off their feet, then when you're not practicing as much and you're playing in a conference like the Big Ten or the SEC, are you as sharp for every opponent? And oh, by the way, every team in your conference can beat you now. It's crazy.
The carnage in this league this year could be unbelievable.
Well, it's Pro Bowl.
Yes.
I mean, it's literally and figuratively Pro Bowl, because you don't see anybody in the league that on a given Sunday or Saturday, any given Saturday, that somebody can't get you. Not to say you wouldn't be a heavy favorite over somebody or whatever, but it's not as have and have not as it has been at different points. It's certainly not this year.
No, there's no cake. I mean, Kirby Smart talked about this after the game as well, and he was very complimentary of Tennessee. And he's just like, "Look, man, this league is going to beat the death out of each other." And by the way, guess what? Next year we're going to 9 of these.
Okay, so let me ask you this: who's really bad in the SEC?
Kentucky struggling.
But are they really bad?
No, I don't think anybody's bad.
That's my point.
I don't think anybody's really bad.
That's my whole point. Yeah. There will be less than, because there has to be. But it's nuts that you see the results. I'm watching LSU in Florida, and I'm going, Florida's, kind of down, sort of. They don't look like. They lost to LSU 20-10 in what was just a slugfest.
Yes. And that's this league every single Saturday.
Which is the thing, back to your point about snap count, which is why I think it's such a big deal.
I agree. Kitselman played 69 snaps yesterday.
Because I don't think anybody's going undefeated in this conference.
No, I don't think so either. I think that's too much of an ask. Because here's the other thing too. You have all these sports scientists out there.
Mm-hmm.
There is something to the effect of an increase in injury based on the amount of workload that you have. Okay, you're wear down. There's a greater chance for injury. As a coach, you have to sit here and listen to these people and understand this is a long journey, and we're not at the point where, like for Tennessee, that's as disappointing of a loss that is Saturday, and it's disappointing. You're not out of it. This is not the old days where won and you're out of it. There's a million things to play for. How do you manage the whole journey? I think that's where you have to be very mindful of your workload on your kids on the practice field, and you've got to try to find a way to create depth, to steal snaps here and there, to give some guys some reprieve.
Well, and I don't mean to quote myself, but we were
talking.
Thank you. But we were
Mike Key said, please talking to third person.
Third person. Well, Mike was telling me. But we were talking on the post game yesterday, Larry Stone and I, and I said, what's different about college football now is it's a tournament sport.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, but college football is a tournament sport, and you understand the loss is discouraging. From the standpoint that you had a chance. You had such a shot to beat this team that's beaten you, that's been the best team in college football. I get it. But are you discouraged about your football team? I don't think you are.
Shouldn't be.
I think you look at the stat sheet, you walk out, you say, if you'd have told somebody logically, back to this point about will you be honest about it, if you told somebody before the season you're going to be 2-1 and you're going to play Georgia off their feet and score 41 points, you're not going to win, but you're going to play a great game. I wouldn't have bothered to tell you how you might not win it, but you'd have probably said, well, then we're better than I thought we'd be. Mm-hmm. 3 weeks ago, when we're doing Big Orange Rewind, you would have said that. And so from that standpoint, not taking anything away from the disappointment of the loss, the loss itself is discouraging. What you think about your football team is not discouraging.
Agreed. I think that's the best way to say it, is you have every right to be discouraged.
Sure.
Or every right to be disappointed, not discouraged. You have every right to be disappointed, mad, upset, whatever adjective you want to use there. But don't let that become we're not a good football team, or we don't have the ability to be a really good football team and contend for the postseason at this point in time. There's nothing coming out of that game yesterday where you say, well, we don't have a chance, because you're going to line up everybody you play and you're going to say, we've got a chance. Now, the flip side of that is everybody you line up and play against is going to say, we've got a chance.
Well, there's no doubt.
Because that's the league.
There's no doubt. And it's not a prediction, but if I said to you right now, Tennessee could beat the 9 remaining teams on their schedule, what do you say?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the team we saw yesterday could do that. But again, you've got the wear and tear. You've got – I mean, you're going to go to Starkville, and they're going to be 4-0 with the chance to play their biggest football game in what, 10 years?
Oh, easy.
I mean, taking out Ole Miss games, which are
take out the
Egg Bowl.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's going to be – and I mean, we'll know, I guess, when will we know time?
Monday.
Yeah, we'll know tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll know tomorrow. And that's going to be a night game. That's got night game written all over it.
It does.
I mean, don't you think? I mean, I'm not saying don't go making your reservations based on what I just said, but it feels like that has 9 games written all over it. What this league has become, though, is a war of attrition.
Mm-hmm.
It's an absolute war of attrition. Who can be the last man standing with enough bodies to go get something done is the challenge that everybody has over the next 2 months.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's, a proud sponsor of the Vols. Taking your text questions at 865-657-1278. We'll get more in the next segment, 865-657-1278.
Big Orange Rewind on the Vol Network.
Sponsored by Food City, the official supermarket and tailgating headquarters of the Vols. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Complete coverage for every phase of life. Alumni Hall, the ultimate volunteer shopping experience. By Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee, the official insurance of the Vols. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Co-op, proudly supplying your rural lifestyle in Big Orange Country. And by UT Medical Center, the official healthcare provider of the Vols and all of Vol Nation.
For over 50 years, we've been telling you about the advantages of natural gas. And the story hasn't changed. It's just gotten better. From natural gas home heating to natural gas water heating, cooking and clothes drying, even natural gas logs for your fireplace. There have never been more ways to enjoy Tennessee's fuel of the future.
Natural gas.
Yesterday, today, tomorrow.
Since 1945, Co-op has been feeding the animals of Big Orange Country. With proven rations for livestock and pets alike, our family of Co-ops takes pride in being the go-to source that feeds your rural lifestyle. We offer livestock rations both by the ton and the bag, and essential pet food for your best friends, no matter their stage in life. Find a location near you by visiting ourcoop.com and go Co-op.
Tennessee pride runs deep from Neyland Stadium to the family farm. At Farm Credit Mid-America, we stand behind the Tennessee farmers who feed and fuel our nation, just like we cheer for the Vols on game day. Because we understand that whether you farm every day, only on the weekends, or simply enjoy time on property outside of town, we have loans to fit your needs. Because farming matters, and so does every play, every harvest, every heartbeat of Tennessee. Learn how Farm Credit Mid-America serves the great state of Tennessee at FCMA.com. Loan subject to credit approval. Additional terms and conditions may apply. Farm Credit Mid-America is an equal opportunity lender.
In this town, we don't just root for the team. We are the team. We rise before the sun, stay long after the lights go out. We are Big Orange Country. And with this team stands another, UT Medical Center. We heal the hurt, fuel the comeback, keep Vol Nation stronger, tougher, together, with care that never lets up. UT Medical Center, official healthcare provider of the Vols, and all of Vol Nation.
The Vol Network's Big Orange Rewind continues. Presented by Calhoun's.
865-657-1278. Text questions for Brent Hubbs. We have one specifically for Brent Hubbs. Well, he's obviously a VolQuest subscriber, so you ready?
I'm ready.
Keith from Franklin. Brent, you have said on VolQuest that Tennessee doesn't value the safety position in NIL as much as they value cornerback. Why? It sure appears SEC teams most likely don't agree. Hard to understand the logic.
I think that it's an NFL model. I think in the NFL – now, listen, if you're talking about Caleb Downs and you're talking about an elite guy, yeah. I mean, I think there are people paying money for those guys. But I think by and large, when you look at people's budget, where they're at, they're spending more money on corners than they are safeties. I don't think that's Tennessee. I think that's in a lot of places of what they're doing. I think it's the same way in the NFL. Right? I mean, the NFL's looking for a corner. Yeah. Sure. Same way you're looking for a pass rusher.
Because you could also, I mean, it's much easier, too, to move a corner to safety than it is a safety to corner.
That's exactly right. And so I don't.
And most of your nickels are corners, too.
Yeah. I don't think it's a point where it's like they don't care. But I think that you feel like if you're really good at corner, then you can be maybe not as elite at safety, so to speak. I mean, so I don't think we don't value the position. I think you value the corner position more.
Well, it's much like, and you're seeing this in NIL, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, guards don't get as much as tackles on offense.
Well, it's all the NFL model, okay? And from the standpoint of your quarterbacks are going to get paid. They get paid in the NFL. Running backs, some, but not as much.
You play more than one.
Yeah.
In most cases.
You got to protect the quarterback, you got to rush the quarterback, and you got to be able to shut down wide receiver. You're going to spend money at receiver, money at corner. Those two compete against each other. Tackle, defensive end, or edge rusher, quarterback.
The majority of your money gets spent on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Corner, outside linebacker, defensive end, wide receiver, in some cases tight end, and then obviously – different from everything else because it's the most different position in sport, quarterback, but it's tackle, tight end, wide receiver, outside linebacker, defensive end, corner.
And I think the college game is that way too. I think that is the model that is morphed.
Here is a really good question from Mike in Knoxville. I like this because I know where he's going. Evening, guys. I was curious if Coach Heupel had commented on the decision to kick the point versus going for two after retaking the lead at 34-30, and would also like your thoughts on that decision. Now, the reason I like this question is because it's a total analytics question, with the analytics being that there's no difference in being up 5 and being up, or there's no difference in being up 4 and being up 5 in a lot of analytical models late in a game. So if you go for 2 and don't make it, you're still up 34-30, which means they would still need a touchdown to take the lead, and you would still be only, at that point, even a field goal away to tie. But if you go up 6 by going for 2, then you get the ball back on the field goal, and suddenly you're up 9 instead of being up 8. And this is Mike. Mike is deep analytics here, and I'm digging it because that's what he's getting into. Most people, I think, in those situations, Mike, don't really go that deep into it, particularly with that much time left. That would be my feeling, and I don't know if that has filtered down into the college game as much.
I know they got a guy on the sideline with a three-ring binder notebook that's flipping that thing open, looking at all kinds of sheets and charts and everything else. But does it cross your mind at that point? I mean, maybe somebody should. It's an interesting – it never crossed my mind in the game. I don't know if it did yours at that point. Did it ever cross your mind about thinking, do they go for 2 here or –
No.
I mean, it never crossed my
No,
mind.
but I like the question.
I do too.
Because when you get
Because you're paying somebody to stand over there with the book.
Well, but again, when you get into these discussions and you're thinking, what's the difference in being up 36-30 and 35-30? Well, the difference is a field goal gives you a 2-score lead if you do that later, and if you don't make it, it really doesn't hurt you. From that, in any way, shape, or form, it doesn't take anything out of you. Because then if you recover the fumble and kick the field goal, you're still up 7.
Right. And they've got a chance to go for 2 and win it if that's what they want to do there.
But most teams don't anymore.
Yeah, most teams are going to play for overtime.
Overtime in that situation.
Yeah, tie the score.
It is
an interesting. I mean, I would have never thought of. Good question, because it didn't. I mean, you're sitting here talking to me, and I'm like, what? Because my whole thing is I watch games and go, why are you chasing points so soon?
Right.
What are you doing chasing points?
But that's a fourth quarter question.
That's a different point chase.
Right.
And at that point in the game.
Because, well, the logic of analytics in the fourth quarter, if you believe all that stuff and believe some of the things about 2-point conversions and going on fourth down, and clearly Kirby Smart does. He believes in it on the fourth down thing. Mm-hmm. Because he's crazy on fourth down, and yesterday he scored his 17th touchdown on fourth down in his time at Georgia, which is nuts. But in this case, with that point, the point in the fourth quarter, according to analytics, if you believe it, not everybody does, but if you believe it, there's no difference in being up either 4 or 5.
Well, the rationale makes total sense. I mean, in the heat of the moment, I'm not sure how much conversation somebody's thinking about that in the heat of the moment, if it crosses your mind. But when you step back and think of it, yeah, there's a lot of validity to it if you're into the numbers that way. It's a fascinating question.
Good stuff.
It is a good question.
Good question.
I don't have a great answer because I think it's a great question.
All right. Well, good. We're glad to know that.
Which is good. That means I'm not very smart if I don't have a good answer to a good question.
Big Orange Rewind presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee, 9 convenient locations in Knoxville and surrounding areas. We look forward to more good questions via the text line, 865-657-1278, 865-657-1278.
At the University of Tennessee, the Vols are known for competing at the highest level on the field, the court, and the diamond. And just like the Vols, Food City excels at everything too. They've got in-store butchers carving up certified Angus beef, fresh local produce, a full-service bakery, Fuel Bucks rewards, and one of the best beer and wine selections in town. Food City, the official supermarket of the Vols, and your home for everything Tennessee.
Tennessee fans, your game day isn't complete without Calhoun's. Whether you're inside Neyland Stadium for the game or tailgating on campus or at home, Calhoun's has you covered with shareable small bites, family feed packs, and party platters. Imagine your tailgate piled high with hickory smoked ribs, tender pulled pork, and that famous barbecue chicken. The best of Tennessee on one plate. Call ahead or order online and make your game day legendary. Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee.
UT fans know it takes teamwork to win. And when you choose Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, you get a team who served Tennesseans for 80 years. From babies to seniors, big needs to small, we offer health coverage that fits your life and your budget. All from a company right here in your community. Now that's what we call a big win. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee.
Hey fans, it's Coach Heupel. On the field, every play adds up in a long drive. Life works the same way. Whether you're building a home, raising a family, or running a small business, it takes consistency and a strong team behind you. That's why I turned to Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Just like our team, they're built for the long drive. Farm Bureau Insurance of Tennessee. Tennessee Insurance for Tennessee Life. Get a free quote at FBITN.com.
This is Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's.
865-657-1278. Your text questions for Brent Hubbs and me, Mike Keith. Glad to have you with us. All right, here's our next text question. Darn proud of the men in orange. Good use of the word darn. Played that same game 10 times and you could win 5. That's all you can ask for. They definitely have a few more Jimmies and Joes, in my opinion, and it shows on those long, sustained drives. But, man, we are trending the right way. I love what Heupel is doing, and I wish our fans weren't so ignorant with the wild expectations at times. I don't think I've heard anybody be particularly ignorant. People are disappointed because you had a chance to beat Georgia, you know?
I mean, here's the thing. And Josh Heupel said this after the game. I mean, the expectation is to win.
Sure.
So the expectation is locker room. That's the expectation the fan base has. And it's good to have that expectation because I've covered this program when there wasn't that expectation. When you went to a venue or somebody came to your town and you was like, how bad's this one going to be? You got no shot.
Like those Oregon
games?
games?
I mean, so you're at a point where you're supposed to have expectations, and there's supposed to be disappointment when you don't win a football game that you give yourself a great chance to win the football game. Tennessee's there. That's the next step. The next step is to finish one of those. They did that against Alabama in 22. They finished it at home. They didn't finish this one, and that's the disappointing part is because you had a chance to finish it, and you didn't execute well enough to finish the thing out.
How do we feel about David Sanders taking the field this week? That's from the text line at 865-657-1278.
I'm at the point I got to see him in uniform. I got to hear of him practicing with the in contact doing work before anything changes in that. So I guess I'm a little of I got to see it to believe it at this point. And that's not a knock on him. It's just this has obviously turned into a recovery that no one anticipated when they left Atlanta after the Syracuse game. I think the belief from everyone at that point is he would be good to go the next week and be ready to go. And he just hasn't healed the way that everybody anticipated he would. So we'll see.
It's time for an in-depth look at the Vols' next opponent, the UAB Blazers, with the Built Ford Tough Report, brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Tennessee football and the Ford F-150 Tough runs in our family. The University of Alabama at Birmingham is 2-1 on the season. They are coached by former NFL quarterback Trent Dilfer in his third season in Birmingham. Senior quarterback Jalen Kitna, a Florida transfer, has already thrown for 892 yards on the season, completing 70% of his passes and 6 touchdowns. The Blazers average 303 yards passing per game, and Kitna's favorite targets are Corey Milliner and Iverson Hooks. Running back Javon Jackson averages 6 yards per carry. Solomon Beebe was a preseason first-team All-AAC selection as kick returner and averages over 165 all-purpose yards per game as returner, rusher, receiver. Defensive end Chris Burge has 2.5 sacks on the young season. This Built Ford Tough Report was brought to you by your local Ford dealer, proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Going to score some points. I mean, they get up and down the field offensively. They've got their struggles defensively. Crazy thing about them is I think all their points have come in the first half. I'm not sure how many points they've scored in the second half.
So
it's crazy.
So they beat Alabama State 52-42. They lost to Navy 24. They lost to them 38-24. And then they held off Akron by a final score of 31-28.
And I think they scored all 31 points in the first half.
Well, so in that game?
I think so.
I'll have to look at that. This season, they have been outscored 108-107. So every game is 36-36, essentially. UAB has scored 72 of their 107 points in the first half.
Okay. They did not score in the second half against Akron. And they did not score in the second half against UAB. So all of their points
Alabama State
have come against Alabama State in the second half. They've been shut out the last 2 second halves. Now they scored 35 points in the second half against Alabama State.
Now here's what's remarkable. Solomon Beebe, the kickoff returner, has returned 11 kicks.
So he's coming.
He returned the opening kickoff against Akron 96 yards. But the thing is, I don't know that Tennessee will have 11 kickoff returns all season. UAB has 14 already. They have 5 punt returns. Iverson Hooks 5 for 57. the University of Tennessee has had just one punt returned against them the whole year.
Yeah. And so the UAB is going to be, they're going to gamble. They'll bring something out if it doesn't land in the out of bounds on a kickoff. They're going to take some chances there. They'll take, if they get an opportunity, they'll take any chance possible in a punt return because they're trying to generate yards. They're trying to generate offense. They'll be very aggressive at special teams is what that tells me.
I think that's true.
I mean, that's what I take from that is if they have a chance to bring one out, they're probably going to bring one out.
They average 452 yards per game in total offense. They give up 473 yards per game in total offense.
Having a hard time stopping the run, too. Their rushing totals, they've given up a bunch of rush yards.
4.9 per carry, 219 per game, 7 rushing touchdowns in 3 games.
It's got a lot of run game feel to it in this matchup.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. Get your run game going.
Yeah, we thought that yesterday.
Well, I mean, you knew it would be hard to run the football yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is we thought, well, the run game. I mean, I guess the run game did determine the final result. I mean, I guess, but 502 to 496.
Here's what I wonder about that, and this I don't think they went into that game thinking, hey, we're going to start 14 of 14 and throw for 200 yards in the first quarter. But when you do that,
I don't know, Heupel might.
But when you do that, don't you stop thinking about running the football?
Sure you do.
And you're like, balance doesn't matter. They can't stop us throwing the football. Let's just keep slinging it around the ball yard.
I mean, that was what and listen, I'm not against running every down if it works.
Sure, whatever works.
I mean,
works.
If you're running off tackle for 5 yards every single play,
run off tackle.
Run off tackle. I mean, I totally get it. But I think that's, I mean, Heupel is a really good play caller. He understands how it all fits together through the course of the week. They have a good plan going in. They know what they want to do. Their adjustments are excellent.
The opening script's so good.
It was
every week
so
it's so
fast. I mean, it was so fast. I mean, the Georgia players were. It was almost as if Georgia just knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we're going to go up 7 here. Now let's settle in and play. Type deal,
yeah, and then it's 7-7 within another. Yeah,
it was.
So we just start the game over at that point.
It was a nutso start for sure. But
to go 75 yards, and 83 yards against Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting there 3 drives in, and you've got 233 yards of total offense.
Yeah, and 200 of it's passing.
Yes, 14 out of 14.
Yeah, just keep throwing it. I mean,
I thought we were going for T. Martin's record for a moment.
Well, I mean, I think you look at the first incompletion. That was not a good play by Georgia. It was an errant throw. I mean, that's what knocked him out of kilter. He could have easily been – Joey could have easily been 17 of 17, at that point. I mean, I think they got themselves – out of sorts throwing the football more than Georgia took them out of sorts throwing the football in the second quarter.
That's probably fair. I mean, there was some execution in that. Here's one that I think you will find interesting. How would you compare yesterday's atmosphere to other Checker Neyland games?
I thought it was good. That was a hard game. I've had some people message me like, I didn't think the crowd was electric all the way through and this, that. That was an unusual game because you went from the euphoria of 21 points in the first quarter to not making a first down.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the second and third quarter, Georgia dominated.
And then you're sitting there, and I mean, I think I told you in the break, I'm like, this sideline needs a play in a bad way because the crowd was out of it, and rightfully so because nothing was happening good for you. That was a different game in that the ebbs and the flows of it were so extreme. The crowd was completely in it, and then they were completely out of it. There was some of those games, like the Oklahoma game, for example, when Baker Mayfield, there was this it was like a hum or a roar the entire game because the way that game was played. It just didn't have the same type of roller coaster highs and lows that one did yesterday. I mean, you were all in it, then it felt like you were all out of it. I mean, there were a lot of people after that opening drive of the second half that Georgia had went, hey, Tennessee's getting ready to get mashed. Like they're getting ready to get mashed. There's a lot of Tennessee fans thought exactly what Georgia thought. They're going to get mashed
Well,
here.
when the turnover occurred, when Staley fell down, and it's 24-21, and Georgia intercepts that pass, you're thinking this is about to become 31-21, and this thing may be over. And instead, they hold them to a field goal, and then they hit the pass to Brazel, and it's 28-27, and I mean the place explodes.
From that point on, it was crazy.
From that point on, I thought it was crazy for the first half of the first quarter, and then from that point on, it was just nuts.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was.
But you make a good point. Flows of the game itself determine that, because this is a crowd that comes for the game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't come to bat the beach ball.
No.
You know, they don't come to.
No, they're living and dying with every snap.
Yes,
and they're emotionally up and they're emotionally down depending on how the game is going. I mean, that crowd was if you're on a scale of 10, that crowd's a 9 yesterday, easy. I mean, it was good. It was a really good crowd. It was a hard game for a fan. One, it was hot. If you're on the east side, you're in the sun the whole day. Two, just the ups and downs were taxing. They were emotionally taxing.
Well, and how
for
Georgia was doing it too, with the run, and that's sort of taking the wind out of you every single play, because they were boring you with every cut. And yeah, and then you hit the deep pass to Brazel for 56 yards.
It was game on.
And after all that beating, I mean, it was like a Rocky Balboa Apollo Creed fight. After all that beating, you land one haymaker and you're ahead again.
Yeah.
It's like I don't remember ever anything like that.
And then you get the turnover and you're thinking, here's my knockout punch.
Right.
And you didn't get the knockout punch.
You knew when you only got a field goal.
You're like, yeah. You had a chance for the knockout punch there, and you let them fight for another round.
Big Orange Rewind, presented by Calhoun's. Look for Calhoun's inside Neyland Stadium. 865-657-1278. Text us your questions now.
Today's Big Orange Rewind. Sponsored by
First Horizon Bank, Big Bank Solutions, Small Bank Spirit, the official bank of the Vols. Swaggerty's Farm Sausage, quite possibly the best tasting sausage in America. By the Tennessee Fund. Join the My All campaign today at IWillGiveMyAll.com. Rackley Roofing, the official roofer of the Vols. And by Ford. Visit your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Here's a fresh twist on your typical banking options. What if, instead of choosing between a big bank or a small bank, you had one bank that's the best of both? Big bank muscle, small bank hustle. Big bank expertise and small bank savvy. All the resources to help you reach your dreams.
And the personal touch to keep you smiling all along the way. That's First Horizon Bank, the official bank of the Vols.
It's football time in Tennessee, and that means it's time for Calhoun's. Whether you're headed to the game or watching from home, make Calhoun's your pregame, postgame, and every game headquarters. From hickory smoked pulled pork to the legendary ribs, juicy burgers, and mouth-watering brisket, Calhoun's delivers the flavor that fuels Big Orange fans. With 9 convenient East Tennessee locations, there's a Calhoun's near you. So gather your friends, wear your orange, and experience why they're the taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's, proud to serve Vol fans since 1983.
Vol fans, ready to score big on your next home? Clayton Homes, Oakwood Homes, and Love Homes are proud sponsors of Tennessee Athletics and proud to help you find your dream home. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking for your forever home, their teams across Tennessee have your back. With 29 locations statewide and Energy Smart Homes designed for year-round savings and a lifetime of comfort, it's never been easier to make the move. Stop by today and see why so many families and Vol fans trust Clayton, Oakwood, and Love Homes to turn home ownership into a win.
Tennessee fans, the Vol Shop has everything you need to support the Big Orange. With a 15,000 square foot store in the Student Union and other locations on Cumberland Avenue, in the University Commons, and inside Neyland Stadium, the Vol Shop is stocked full of official gear and exclusive apparel. The Vol Shop is your go-to retailer for Tennessee merchandise. If you can't make it to campus, shop online at utvolshop.com and be sure to follow them on social media. The Vol Shop, the official campus store of the University of Tennessee.
week ahead. The final analysis on this week. Big Orange Rewind. Presented by Calhoun's.
Game 4 for Tennessee this Saturday at Neyland Stadium, preserved by Pilot. UAB at 2-1 comes to town to take on the 15th-ranked Volunteers. 12:45 kickoff. That's Eastern time. 11:45 Central. We are on the air at 10:30 Eastern time on the Vol Network with Big Orange Countdown. That includes Larry Stone, Ramon Foster, Jason Swain, and this man, Brent Hubbs.
We'll be there. Look forward to it. I tell you what, appreciate everybody who came out to Gate 21 and hung out with Jason and Ramon and I on Saturday. Look forward to seeing you this Saturday. That is a blast and a fun show to do. Even if you can't come out and see us, I encourage everybody to listen. Those two guys know football. They talk a lot of football. We break down a lot of football to the fans out there to get you ready for what to expect and what to look for. Those two guys do a terrific job talking ball. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. That show is.
We like having you do it.
Well, I just get out of the way. I'm the guy hitting the beach ball on that deal. I hit the beach ball questions and move. Here's the set. You two hit it.
Or you pitch the beach ball.
I just throw it out there.
Throw the beach balls up there.
Throw it out there. You boys hit it as hard as you want to.
The UCLA job is open. Deshaun Foster fired after an 0-3 start. It does not look like it gets easier for UCLA the rest of the way. Their schedule is very, very challenging. Lost a couple early on that they were not expected to lose, and now with this taking a downward turn, Deshaun Foster is gone in Westwood. In Blacksburg, Virginia, they are looking for a coach. Brent Pry fired there, and it will be interesting to see what direction they try to go. The belief will obviously be Shane Beamer until he either takes it or convinces people that he really doesn't want it.
Yeah, I think both of those jobs have their challenges. I think it's going to be hard for UCLA. Who wants that job? There's a lot of repairing to do with that job. Deshaun Foster alienated the media pretty hard, did a lot of things
you
out
think?
there. Yeah, I mean, just a lot of things that that's a hard job. I will be fascinated to see what that candidate looks like in Westwood.
Well, it's a hard job because they're in the Big Ten, which, it just doesn't make a lot of sense out there. And the other thing I'll never forget, when I went out there in 1989 to cover Tennessee UCLA, UCLA is ranked 6th in the country. And this is a big game for Tennessee because Tennessee had gone 0-6 the year before, finished 5-6, had opened with a scintillating 17-14 win over Colorado State. Remember doing the first Vol calls around that, and oh boy, people were happy. Man, oh man, were they?
Thrill a minute.
Oh, they were really fired up. So I get sent out there early, and I remember I'm excited to watch the evening news because I want to see what they're saying about UCLA and Tennessee. The sportscaster on the evening news for the ABC station or whatever it was, he's got, 4 minutes. UCLA football is never mentioned.
Yeah.
They do mention, and I promise this is true, surfing. And here's a kid from Tennessee, 22 years old, surfing? You got Tennessee, UCLA coming up this weekend, and you're talking about surfing?
Yeah.
Well, then we get to the game, and the crowd's kind of like, it felt like most of them had just come in from surfing.
Right.
And I don't mean to,
no, I know what you're saying.
They have a great tradition, but they have so many things they compete against out there. And, oh, by the way, now they compete against the Big Ten where people are serious.
Well, and you have financial woes.
And your basketball is, in the back of everybody's mind, a big deal. Yeah. And, oh, by the way, you have a lot more sports.
Yeah.
Because you do have volleyball and beach volleyball and things. It's a different climate. They so don't fit in the Big Ten.
No, and that's why I think the candidate pool for that job is going to be really interesting. I think that from a Virginia Tech standpoint, I think the questions you're asking is where's your commitment? Where are you rev share? Where are you NIL? What's your commitment look like? Because there's a window in the ACC, it feels like. You know, I mean, you can
ask Georgia Tech.
Yeah, you can get in. You can get in there if your commitment level's where it needs to be. And I think that's the question everybody will ask about the Virginia Tech job, which I believe is a better job than UCLA because of the opportunities in that league. And if they'll commit to it, I think you can go out there. You can recruit in state and you can make some hay.
But already.
Yeah,
I mean, we're in the middle of September, and two what we would call big name jobs are already open.
And keep this in mind too: tomorrow, the 30-day window, emergency portal window, will open for all of those kids. They can go into
UCLA and Virginia Tech because their coaches were fired.
Yeah, they can go into the portal window, and they can preserve their red shirt and preserve their year because they've not played in 4 games yet.
The general manager of the Vol Radio Network is Brandon Parks, executive director Glenn Thaxton, director of business development Josh Payrow, special advisor Steve Early, account executives Chuck Arnold, Kevin Ashmos, Ben Bates, Nick Bell, Savannah Chalfant, Brandon Lane, Jessica Leifheit, Spencer Rudder, and Chris Wagner. Our technical director is Tim Berry, network engineer Jay Leifert, network producer Eli Davis, Associate Director of VFL Films, Ashley Farrell and Travis Dean, Director of Radio Projects, Larry Stone. For Brent Hubbs, I'm Mike Keith, reminding you that Tennessee will play host to UAB Saturday at Neyland Stadium, preserved by Pilot. We're on the air at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Central.
Big Orange Rewind.
Presented by Calhoun's, a taste of Tennessee. Calhoun's is the perfect place to rewind after every Tennessee game.
Rewind one more time to this weekend's action. Catch the podcast at utsports.com. Big Orange Rewind. We are the Vol Network.